I'm never going to be the one person that's like, just go for it. I take risks, but I take calculated risks.
So today on the Owner's Table podcast, we talked to Ashley Robinson. She owns Green Cardigan Marketing in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. She has offices in Birmingham. She has clients all over the U.S. So here's what we dove into. We dove into her being a professional golfer. We dove into her background, being raised as a pastor's kid and her journey through that. But then we also talked about hiring. And it was really, really interesting talking to her about hiring and how she's got 4 remote employees that do a phenomenal job for her. It's a wonderful journey. We even talked a little bit about having kids possibly and just the journeys of being an adult and parenting. So I know you're going to enjoy our conversation with Ashley. Ashley, so thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to have you. So Ashley, you were a friend of Anna Marie, who is a wonderful real estate agent here, wonderful business owner, and just so much wisdom. And you knew her from, tell me that again.
A little bit in the world of golf, and then just growing up in Anniston where she was. Okay. It's a pretty small town, sure. And so we just got to know each other through just mutual connections there. Gotcha.
So like most of these conversations, unless it's somebody that I've known, like most of these conversations, I don't know a ton about you. So what this will be is this is extremely conversational. We'll just talk through who you are, what you do, and really why does it matter? So that's usually my first opening question that goes from there. So What do you do and why does it matter?
What do I do and why does it matter? So I own a marketing agency. Okay. And we do digital marketing for law firms. So we
specifically
we only work with law firms.
So if I said, hey, I need you to do this for us, our company.
Probably not.
Hey, thanks, but no
You know
thanks.
what? In the world of marketing, the one thing I would do is website design, because we've got some really great website designers, and that can kind of be, we can kind of do any industry. Sure. But our specialty, all of our focus and attention and research and time is in the world of legal. So digital marketing services, only in the world of legal. Within that, we get even more specific. We only do organic marketing, right? So versus paid ads, sure. We only do organic marketing. And then within that, we're beginning to niche down even further to certain practice areas.
Okay, so a lot of people out there don't understand exactly what organic marketing is. So tell me what organic marketing is, number one. Okay. And then number 2, tell me what that is. Give me an example of what that is in the law business.
Okay. Organic marketing versus paid marketing.
Yep.
Okay. Organic is I'm organically searching for, can I, in the state of Alabama, what is a contested versus non-contested divorce? And I search for it and I organically see Thomas Cox Family Law on 280. And I've organically found you, right? So I'm looking for best watches, and I organically find this watch. Sure. Versus paid marketing is when a company pays for that ad,
and
right?
It says sponsored.
It says sponsored. It says paid.
And when we say search, you're obviously referring to Google.
Google, yeah, everything we do, Google. So we're talking top 3 or 4 spots are paid spots, right? So that is pay to play. Sure. And there are many companies who do that. We do not. We're not into the paid world.
You don't want anything paid.
We do not. We eventually will, is our ultimate goal. Now our size clients, it just doesn't make sense. So we just do all things organic. So what we're trying to do is kind of reverse engineer someone's Google search, right? And when they search for a law firm or when they search for anything legal related, we want our clients to show up. So we have clients across the country in 37, 38 states, all practice areas. So we are trying to target their local market when they search for something, that they find one of our law firms. Same on social media, same with video marketing. So we do SEO, social, video, website, but it's all organic, none of the pay to play.
So when people pay you in this world, the marketing world, there's 2 things. You have retainer and you have ad spend. But no one ever spends ad spend with you because you don't do any paid marketing.
Correct.
So you just are retainer based.
I'm retainer based.
So law firm XYZ that does whatever kind of law, they pay you the X number of dollars per month, and that's a retainer. So let's go drill down a little bit deeper, and we are way past the point of I need to learn more about you in general, but I want to ask this question: is what kind of law? So we could sit here for 45 minutes and talk about the different kinds of lawyers, the practices. great friend of mine. He is a lawyer, was in his wedding, but he does very specific contractual law for one company. So what kind of law do you do? What kind of law firms do you take?
So our ideal client, we call it like our client avatar, right? Is a small to medium-sized law firm, solo practitioner, up to 5-10 partners. And then again, we're in many practice areas. So we're drilling down. We have a big base in personal injury, obviously.
Yep.
We have a big family estate. Those are 3 big areas for us. So family law, estate, very much go hand in hand.
Okay.
Personal injury. We have a decent sized business, business law, because they're not necessarily, and they're a different type of marketing, right? They're not marketing to consumers. It's more B2B. So we're trying to target me, you, other small business owners. So that's, I guess, to answer your question, it's that small to solo mid-sized law firm in their region trying to dominate their local market. Okay.
So let's do this. Before I get into my detailed questions, because I got a handful of detailed questions just about what you do. Tell me, let's go back.
Okay.
So you're an Alabama girl, but you live in Fort Lauderdale now.
I do.
So tell me about growing up from the time you were a kid. Just go from kid to high school and what that was like. What are your parents like? What did you do? Obviously golf growing up. So tell me about that.
Yes, I grew up in Anniston, so not too far from here. Nope. Golf was my world. My parents are pastors, so very familiar with the spot you guys have here. Mom and dad are pastors in Anniston. Just retired. We're months post-retirement.
Wow.
So grew up in that world, pastor's kid world. Lots of pros, few cons.
Sure.
Very supportive family, 3 children. Played golf. Got into golf very young, and golf.
When you say young, give me how young?
9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So golf becomes quickly all-consuming for me. I've always been an athletic, major into athletics. Really the only one in my family. It's just a thing for me. My dad's a big hunter, mom not at all. Brother is later in life, not as a child, sister not at all. So I just find something in sports even as a young child. So I get introduced to golf, and it just becomes everything. I can so vividly remember the first time I played and was like, wow, this is it. Just totally obsessed with it
I freaking hated it.
Really?
I hated it. I gave it a college try for about 6 or 8 months to a year with my best friends. Like, I'm talking best friends, and they are still eat up with it at 40 something.
Why do you hate it?
That's a great question. I don't really know why I hate it. I don't know if it's the lack of control. I don't know if it's the lack of knowledge of how to correct the mistakes. But I saw that over a course of time, the progress wasn't made, and I didn't enjoy that. Yeah. Did not enjoy that. Now, I'll say this. Everyone always says you need lessons because you don't know what you're doing. Never did get lessons. So I was trying to be, quote, self-taught. So back in the day, 30 years ago, nobody got lessons on anything. So in football and basketball and baseball and every sport, I just did it, got better, and saw progress and kept going. Never saw progress.
Yeah, that's not going to happen in golf.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why I don't like it. I don't really know. I've never been asked why I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's an uncommon answer. And I don't know why I was so naturally drawn to it, but I was totally obsessed with it. So from childhood until high school, to go back to your original question, was just golf for me. Everything was golf. So I'm in this world of pastor's kid. My parents are also very entrepreneurial. So they are flipping houses on the side.
Really?
Yeah, so they're doing all kinds of stuff on the side to hustle because they're pastors and they're not making a lot of money. Yeah. But they've got 3 kids, and we ended up later adopting my cousin, so now we've got 4 kids. So they're flipping houses. They're being incredibly creative to generate more income.
Sure, that's
right?
Awesome.
It was because as a child, you got to see that. Right, to see this work ethic and see this dedication to their craft, something they love, but they also want to provide for their family. So I'm growing up and I'm just all in on the world of golf. My only objective was to play golf in college. From middle school to high school, it was the only thing I'm studying, focusing on, is how can I make it to the next level.
So what did you want to be when you grew up?
A professional golfer.
You were a professional golfer. Okay.
There was no other thought.
You just knew that's what you were going to do.
Well, boy, was I wrong. But there was no, I just knew that was it. There was no other option. Because I grew up in such a supportive household. You can do anything, right? Like,
and you did though. Like, here's the thing. People don't understand this. When someone's kid gets a scholarship to go play a sport at a college, that is the 1.5%.
It is.
Probably the 1% of humans.
It is.
It is a very special thing. And sometimes in our culture, in Alabama, in the groups that I run in, it's not a big deal. For example, 3 weeks ago, we went out for a friend's birthday. There were 4 couples. All 8 of us played college sports, and all were college athletes.
Yeah. Never hear that.
Yeah.
So rare.
So, but
you played college sports?
I did.
Okay.
So.
Where'd you play?
I played at UAB.
Oh, you did play? Okay.
I did.
Okay.
So having someone that's played college sports that got paid to play college sports, no matter what it is, I don't care if it's bowling, whatever. Like my best friends in college were synchronized swimmers. It's a hard sport.
Yeah.
So it's a special deal. So you got to that level at college and someone paid you to play golf. That's crazy.
It's a huge deal. You know, it was a huge, even at such a young age, I knew what I was able to give to my parents, and that was full scholarship.
Sure.
That was housing. That was food.
All of it.
That was books. To be able to say, like,
I got it.
now, did they invest into me to get to that level? Because golf is unbelievably expensive.
Yeah.
And so as a junior, you know, I was playing so much travel ball. It's the same in golf,
thing.
Except just brutally expensive. Just like I guess travel ball is for kids
These
playing
days
baseball.
it is, yeah.
It's ridiculous, right? Very similar. I mean, we're paying all these fees to enter the tournaments, to travel. My dad's pastoring, you know, so it's a difficult juggle, but they did it. So yeah, it was a big deal. That's all I wanted to achieve, and I was fortunate, and I worked very hard. I'm never going to take that away from me to say, yeah, I got lucky. No, I worked really hard.
Yeah, sure. Was
never the greatest golfer, and I knew that from an early on. I didn't have the extreme talent, but from early on just had a burning desire and a passion to just work really hard to put myself in a position to succeed and go to the next level of golf.
So you're at college, and at some point at college they say, hey, Ash, you gotta have a major. You gotta get a degree because you gotta stay eligible. What did you decide? Did you at that point think that you wanted to do something as a career? Or were you still like, I want to be a professional golfer, but I got to go get a degree in something? So what was that? Yeah,
it was after just trying to narrow it down, right? Of like, what would I be good at? I'm a good communicator. I at least know that at a younger age. I've watched my parents control a room for all of these years and very much be good communicators, right? So I realize I've inherited that, as my brother and sister have. We all have that skill set from watching them. So okay, I narrow it down to marketing. And I'm like, you know what? My backup plan is going to be, I'm going to do marketing for golf. Right. Again, golf. I can't think straight. All I can think about is golf. So that was, I get to college. Hey, you got to pick a major. All right, let's go golf. Let's go marketing. We'll always be in golf.
So talk about going to college. You get a marketing degree, graduate, and then where did it transition?
Yeah, I graduate and I'm going to play. Well, in golf, you have got to go to Q school, right? Qualifying school,
yeah.
So I'm going to go play on a little mini tour in Orlando, Florida. Now, could I have been good enough at this point where I've gotten sponsor deals and all these things? Yes. But again, I'm very aware that I'm not the greatest, right? And I'm surrounded by coaches, swing coach, mental coach, fitness coach. We all know that. We're all very aware of the situation. But I could at least try. So, you know what? This is actually probably, Anna Marie comes into this play as well. I say, well, how am I going to play professional? I have to have sponsors. Well, I'm not good enough for you to say, hey, let me sponsor you. So I'm going to go out to those in the community. I'm in a smaller community. Everyone knows my dad. Still in Anniston.
Jacksonville area. Okay.
Everyone knows my dad.
Yep.
So I'm going to go out and ask for sponsors. And so that's what I do. I put together a whole package marketing myself. And I go to these local businesses, and ERA King sponsored me. Aniston Country Club sponsored me. Yeah, I need to.
That's great.
Yeah, just
okay.
thinking about that, I'm like, oh, that's another connection I have with her.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm like in college, and I'm also I do my internship at Aniston Country Club, which is another connection to Anna Marie as well. So I get all of these local sponsors in Aniston to sponsor me for like, let's call it one season or whatever, on this mini tour in Orlando. So I have a host family. I moved down to Orlando, do not know anyone, and I just play every week. You play a tournament within 100 miles, 50 miles of the Orlando area. Pretty big radius.
And that's Q School?
No, so that was just a little tour.
Okay.
And that's just me preparing. I did it a season in advance to prepare for Q School, which is a 4-day tournament.
Q School is just a 4-day tournament.
That's all it is.
And what you're doing there is that's a tournament to qualify to get your card.
Correct.
Well, card is your professional card.
That's correct.
Okay, so tell me about Q School. How did that go?
Not good.
Not good.
Not good. So I'm playing on this tour all year to prepare.
Yep.
I go to Q School. Horrible. Not even horrible.
Bad weekend?
No.
Or like I'm just not
I'm
good
just
enough.
not good enough.
Got it.
I'm just not good enough. And I do it for
The
another season.
self-awareness in this room is wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay,
not good enough.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm still not going to be 40 and look back and say, that was a good enough try, Ashley.
Sure.
There is no chance I can swing one time, strike out, and say, well, I got to do it again. My 40-year-old self cannot look back. And these were like the exact words I was using. So I'd do a whole nother season, go back to Aniston, get more sponsors.
More money.
Need more money. Guys,
I got to have some money.
Guys, my dad's pastor. Need
Yeah.
more money. So I'm going to all these businesses, right? Get more money, go back down, another season.
In the Orlando thing.
Same thing. Same family, everything.
That's
Q School,
wonderful.
again, fail, probably even worse.
Oh, God bless.
But my husband, not my husband then, my boyfriend, very serious boyfriend, caddies for me. And we went into it like, this is it, have so much fun, because I know that I'm done. And truly, like, have no regrets, because I tried it. Other than maybe my marriage, I don't have children. It's the greatest accomplishment that I have, because it was so hard. It was so difficult. It was courageous for a young kid. It was all the things, right? So I did it and didn't work, but I tried it twice and
that's great.
And moved on with my life.
All right, so that was going to be my next question. You've already segued into it. So tell me about your husband. So where's he from? What's he do? Just all those things.
He's from Georgia.
Okay.
Go Dogs.
Yep.
He's going to love that.
Yeah.
So he was in golf.
Okay.
So he takes he's an assistant superintendent in Georgia. So a superintendent manages the property, right?
Sure.
He becomes the youngest superintendent in Alabama and takes the head superintendent job at the golf course my family lives on. So we meet just because he's the superintendent and I'm there practicing.
Right.
I was actually home in between that 1 and 2 season.
Okay.
And was playing and was introduced, hey, you need to meet the new superintendent.
Great.
And I'm like, I absolutely do not. They are 75 and overweight.
Ah,
right?
That's good.
So I meet Chad and then we are kind of dating. And then after that first round or the second round, it was like, okay, we're serious. So he's from Georgia in golf. And now we're in Fort Lauderdale. We moved there originally for his job. So he's still in golf.
What's he doing in golf?
He works in golf. So he works for a company based in the Fort Lauderdale area where he consults and a little bit of sales, but mostly consulting with golf courses in the Caribbean. So he's in Puerto Rico as we speak. He spends 40% of his life in the Caribbean, Central America. That's his territory.
Golf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my stars.
So he's working with his company reps a few different products, and they're in South Florida, or kind of Central Florida, South, and then the Caribbean. So he's over the Caribbean. So
products. What do you mean products?
So they have Toro. You're familiar with Toro? Okay, club car.
Golf course products.
Correct. And then they also have like irrigation equipment for the superintendent who needs irrigation for the golf course. So those are the 3 areas, like Toro mowing equipment. Yeah. Golf carts, actual carts.
Yep.
And then
got to have all 3 of those
the piece for the actual irrigation. So because he was a superintendent, he can really work with these guys and say, oh, you need this, this, and this. And he has a mechanic. So he manages a smaller team of a parts person, a mechanic, a this, and this. And they travel with him to these properties. He's kind of the head guy, leads the whole project. They might be redoing a golf course or building a golf course, and he'll be on this project for several years.
So you get married. I've done it with Q school. I'm not going to give it another shot. What do you do then? Because your husband's got a job, it sounds like. He's either superintendent.
He's a golf course superintendent at this point.
Okay,
We're
so
living on the golf course he's managing.
You don't have a job. 25 years old-ish, whatever your age is. You don't have a job. You got a degree. I'm done with golf. What now?
Marketing for my dad's church. What do you mean? Isn't that the easiest?
Marketing for church.
Marketing for
Okay.
church.
So tell me about.
Yeah. That was a very short
span
of my life. It was, hey, what am I going to do in marketing? So I go and I help dad at church. I do small groups and marketing. Okay. So we do redo the website, social media, just the basic stuff, right? So do this for a very short period of time. And then I was like, okay, I need my big girl job in marketing.
Big girl job. Yep.
And I find an agency here in Birmingham. So
can you tell me who?
A marketing agency, Strong Automotive Merchandising.
Okay.
Shout out.
Yep.
So Agency Life is a marketing agency for those, just a 3-minute or a 3-year-old version is they have certain clientele and they do marketing for all their clients. So you've got 100 bosses, right? Or 500 bosses, right? So that's really dumbing it down, but you're doing the marketing for the companies that you work for.
Okay, so you're at this agency. How long are you at this agency?
2 or 3 years.
Then what?
I go straight to Welborn Cabinet.
Yeah, in Ashland.
Yeah, you know them.
I know them very well.
How?
Girlfriend in high school and first year of college is from Ashland.
Tiny town.
Tiny. My best friend was from Lineville.
You got to get to Asheville. You got to go through
Lineville. And so we dated for 2 years.
Okay.
And it's the hub of that.
That's the only thing in the
It's the hub.
Yeah.
They're in chicken farming.
Yeah.
Dairy, chicken farming, and Welborn Cabinets. And Welborn Cabinets is huge.
Massive.
And so everyone there works in farming, works at Welborn.
Or works at Welborn Cabinets.
That's really all you can do.
There's nothing else to do.
Yeah. So, I know Welborn real well.
Yeah, so I go there because, so at this point I'm driving from Anniston.
And it's not that far.
It's not.
It's 40 minutes.
Right, from Anniston?
Yeah.
Not that far at all.
Yeah.
So I'm driving from Anniston at this point to Birmingham, 70 miles one way every day, 140 miles. I do this for 2 years. I loved working at Strong Automotive. It was so fast paced. It was hard. And I loved it. I was in the account side, so the account management side. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're married. Okay.
So we're married. So I'm like, I need something a little bit closer to home. I've gotten a good start to my resume. So I go to the Welborn Cabinet and I work on their marketing team for a year and a half.
Okay.
And then Chad gets the job. My husband's Chad gets the job in Fort Lauderdale. So it's like, well, we're packing up. We moved to South Florida.
So you've been in South Florida for how long?
6 years.
Okay, so you go to South Florida and you were from Welborn.
I work fun change of events. I go back to Strong and working remotely. And now I'm working remotely for Strong.
Okay.
And I do that for a year or two while we're down there.
In Fort Lauderdale?
In Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, so then what?
Leave Strong, go to a company in South Florida, do marketing for them. So at this point, my business is starting to brew in the background. And now I'm like really struggling internally. So it's like, okay, I know I'm having to start my business. So
Okay, this is great because there's somebody out there that's feeling the way you are feeling.
Yep.
So talk about that feeling. So you feel confident. Tell me about the feeling that you had that started to come up in your mind when you realized that you needed to go start your own business.
It's a heavy burden. And if there are certainly people who listen to you who feel it, and that's good on you for stopping that conversation, because there's someone out there wondering, I'm a dad, I'm a wife, I'm single. That's such a huge leap, right?
Right.
And I'm never going to be the one person that's like, just go for it. I take risks, but I take calculated risks, right? So you have it. If it's burning desire in you, you know what feeling I'm talking about, right? So it starts to eat at me of, I've always known I'm going to be some sort of entrepreneur, right? So after the world of golf, I shouldn't say always known. As I realize golf is starting to shift, I know that I'm going to be an entrepreneur somehow. And looking back, it was always kind of festering in me, especially seeing mom and dad do what they do, right? Being the definition of small business owner. So I start to have this feeling, and it's not even I could do it better, but you realize working for someone else, like you can't have every day. I could not continue to work for someone else when I'm like, God, I could be doing, there's so much potential that is not being used. That would probably be the biggest feeling I have, is there's so much potential not being used. And then also, I want to see if I can figure this out. Can I figure out how to have my own business? My problem at this point was, I don't know what that is. I don't know what small business I want to start. I just know I want to have my own business.
Are you second? So what I'm hearing is you're sitting in the chair working for somebody, and you are, in essence, in your mind, respectfully, second guessing decisions that are being made because you feel like they can be done a different way.
Absolutely.
True or not true?
100%.
Okay. So you're doing that, and in that thought process, what you still say, okay, I can do these jobs or this job. I want to go do this on my own. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So tell me about the transition. The transition is the most important thing. The specific question I have is, as you're working at the agency, did you have other clients?
I did.
Okay. So as you're working at the agency, the biggest thing that everybody wants to know and understand is, how did you get your first client? So as you're working at the agency, how did you get that first client?
Yeah. So my sister meets and marries a lawyer. And as a good sister, I start doing marketing for him on the side. Hey, let me help you out, right? Let me look into this. No, yeah, your website's bad. It needs work.
But you don't know anything about lawyers.
I know nothing
Zero.
about lawyers. Not one thing.
A lot of juice, a lot of confidence there. Keep going.
Not one thing. But I'm looking at his contracts. I'm like, what are you paying for? You're really getting, my first reaction is you are getting taken advantage of. You're paying for SEO marketing, which is organic marketing, and you're really just having your website hosted by this company. It happens, come to find out, it happens a lot in the legal industry. So I start to see this. Yeah, absolutely, I can do your marketing. Yeah, at this point, I just want to earn some extra income. Again, the hustler side of me, the golfer side of me is what I say a lot. I can do anything. It's just such a solo sport. So I'm like, I can do this. So I start doing his marketing. Well, he shares a building with 2 other lawyers. I go and visit him one day and talk to him about his marketing. It's still not really clicked. This is the thing.
This is what you're doing. I'm a business owner. You don't get it.
I haven't clicked. It has
That's
not clicked.
so funny.
I go to his office and I meet someone in his office. And I talk to him. He's, hey, can you do my marketing? Of course I can do marketing.
Absolutely.
Before month 1 is over with, I'm doing marketing for all 3 in the building. I have all 3.
Go back to that time. How much were you making? How much were you charging those people?
I was charging each of them maybe between $700 and $900. Let's call it $800.
$800 bucks. $800 bucks. How much were you making at your job for this other person?
For my job, 52.
So 52. So you're making $2,400 a month. So you're still at like 30, maybe a little less than 30 grand. Okay. Keep going. This is good.
So I start to do the marketing for the 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
Still working at this other job.
Are you working your face off? Like, you're working a lot, or is your job demanding?
Yes.
Okay, so your job, agency life is really demanding.
Very
because you're at the
demanding.
beck and call of all these people.
Very
So
demanding.
your agency life is pretty demanding, but you're also still working these other 3
Correct.
guys. So where does it? I mean, where does it go from there?
So I continue to do marketing for these 3 guys. Continue to have my business, my other job. And say, look, this can't happen. So my husband and I are having the conversation of like, now it's starting to catch on. A couple months in, it's starting to catch on. This could be the thing. And I always felt like, again, for your listeners, I always felt like a small business owner knows what they want to do. Now I have experienced and talked to people and listened to podcasts that many times that's not the case. I know I want to be a business owner. I don't know what that business is or have a very broad picture. And if you are feeling that way, it's okay. It's okay. What I would say is try, experiment. What fuels you? What do you enjoy? What do you have a natural gift in?
That's it. The last one is it.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference. People think that you have to follow your passion. Passion is a bunch of crap. You have to do what you're good at first. Then at that point, you intertwine your passion in what you're good at.
That's great. That's great.
Because I may love golf, but I suck at golf. So me doing something with golf is probably not great. But I have these skills that I'm really good at. Then if I really want to intertwine that, I can go market for golfers or do whatever. So you got to do something. So you're obviously good at this because people keep hiring you.
Correct.
So you're doing these. You've got these three lawyers. You're still working your job. How long does that go on?
Not No more than 6 months.
Did you get any more than 3?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about how you got the 4th and 5th or however many.
Word of mouth, 100%
So
word of mouth.
those 3 dudes or girls, I don't know, those 3 dudes talk to other dudes,
Yep.
and they're just like, "Hey, girls, Ashley's doing a good job. She's affordable.
Yep.
Whatever."
Exactly. So I'm maybe I've maybe acquired 2 more at this point.
Okay.
And so now I'm looking at, okay, this is it, right? Like this is the thing. And so I'm having conversations with my husband, and this is 2019.
Okay.
So the world is normal.
The
right?
world is normal.
The world is normal. And I'm like, is this it? Is this it? My husband is much more risk averse than I. So we're having this, like, what should we do? What should we do? Make the decision to go for it. So,
but here's the thing, though. You sound like this is really ballsy, but it's not, because you're making between 40 and 50 grand a year, and you got a husband that makes pretty decent money.
Right.
You probably don't have any bills because you're on a scholarship. You don't have any kids.
Exactly.
So like, that's what I tell people. I did a video on this before. You don't have kids. You're at an extreme advantage for time, income producing, and here you are. You know, you're making right the same. So there's really not a whole lot of risk.
It's not. And going back earlier, what we were saying is I've taken risks, but I always take a calculated risk, right?
Sure.
That's what I mean. You nailed it, right? Like finances, my husband and I are thankfully we are aligned. We're debt free. We're all of these things. He has a great job. I've already supplemented my income with probably 5 clients at this point.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge risk, right? So at this point is when I go full throttle. It just happens to be in February of 2020. So it was a strange time.
So you've got 5 clients in February 20.
Yep. And I'm like, this is it.
All right. So
We just buy our condo last week of February, first week of March, something like that. Oh, the world is just shutting down for a couple of days, right? So like, okay, it's not a big deal. We've just bought a brand new to us. We just buy a condo in downtown. We've lived there now for a few years, trying to decide where we want to live. We've been renting. We've decided we want downtown, beautiful Fort Lauderdale. But this condo needs a ton of work. This couple went through a divorce. They trashed the place. So we're going to gut it, renovate it. Right. So we buy it. I've started my business, shuts down. We can't renovate. Our building puts a lock and key. Nothing. So now we're living in this condo that needed a lot of work. We have 2 buckets we're like sitting on. So I'm like literally sitting with my computer in my lap working. I remember so well sitting in our guest bedroom. We went and bought a rug, and I'm just sitting there every day with my computer in my lap, just working away, happy as a clam.
That's great.
Could care less that my husband's panicking. You know, he stopped traveling because he travels so much.
Yeah.
We can't renovate our condo. I'm like, I don't care. I'm doing what I love. Like, I cannot believe I get to do this. And I'm good at it, and I'm growing. So the longer COVID goes on, the more and more clients begin to come in.
So let's talk about that. So how did you grow? This is a great question. How did you grow your marketing business during COVID?
Word of mouth. 100% referral. I did.
So the marketing girl didn't do any marketing.
I did 0 marketing.
That's awesome.
I did 0 marketing.
Okay.
And it has grown tremendously up until this point with mostly referrals. And so during COVID, I did 0 marketing, right? I'm just doing referrals. Now, did I start to become strategic in those referrals and market through those referrals? Absolutely.
Explain that. How did you market through referrals?
So hosting little like online webinars or scheduling calls and inviting them to bring on other lawyers, or as soon as you could travel, I'm traveling to these law firms because they're all in Atlanta at this point. So all the law firms I'm working with are all in Atlanta at this point because my brother-in-law is in Atlanta.
Got it.
And so everybody.
That's where it started. Okay.
That's where it started. I probably missed that part.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've got those 3 lawyers in his office, right? So they're all in Buckhead, and the 2 or 3 that they've told at this point have all been in Atlanta. So I would go to Atlanta as often as I could. My sister's there, my nephew's there, and I would go to dinner. Hey, invite a friend. So I'm still marketing through the referrals, which to this day is such an important part of our growth, is marketing through our referrals.
When you first started doing this, how did you know how much to charge?
I had no clue.
Okay.
I'm pulling numbers out of thin air.
All right.
No idea how to price, what to price, what are the deliverables, what is the time frame? No idea.
So how did you figure that out?
So as I begin to grow, I say, okay, lawyer A, first lawyer, does not now know lawyer F or G, right? So my lawyer's 5, 6, 7 down the road. I'm finally starting to grow outside of that immediate network. They do not know each other, so I can increase pricing. Well, I still don't want to throw it up out of thin air, right? So I call 4, 5, or 6 of my competitors and pose as a law firm and go through their whole intake process.
Okay.
I get pitch decks from them. What are their deliverables? I ask extremely specific questions. And then I compare the two and I look at, okay, this is what I was charging. Now my new lawyer, he didn't even question when I said this should be my price. Then I'm looking at my competitors, and between the two, I felt like it was good enough research to say, okay, this is my new pricing. And I would continue to do that for the next, I would say, year to year and a half. I would continue looking at my competitors and calling them and posing as a law firm.
Wow. So where are you at right now with the pricing? Not your numbers, but like how do you gauge that now? Are you specific with your hours? Give me that.
Yeah. So we track our employees' time. So we use a time tracking software. And so I can see how much time they are using up for each individual project, right? So this time tracking software is incredibly beneficial for me to see, oh, this is a super easy task, but the market is calling for it to be at this rate. Can come in a little bit. That might be my edge if I can come in a little bit lower, or whatever. There's so much data you have in that time tracking that you can use, and then also combine that with, again, research. We're still shopping our competitors. We're not necessarily doing it as a law firm. I know a lot of them, and I just straight up ask them. I'm in groups and I have conversations with them. So, also your competitors will tell you, just ask. Your clients will tell you, just ask them, what were you paying at your previous agency? So all of this data now helps me be a little bit more scientific.
Why only market for law firms? Why just law firms?
Look, at the beginning, I tried to be everything to everybody, and it just was not me. It felt I was never going to be able to call myself a professional in that industry. When I was at the agency in Birmingham, we worked exclusively with automotive. So we worked exclusively with small dealerships across the country. And I had that thought, again, as I'm there, I'm like, I want to be a business owner. I don't know what it is. I thought, what a great concept this guy has, right? Our owner. We only work with automotive agencies. So our clients would come to us and say, hey, you're the professional in that. You know what you're talking about. You only work in this industry. So combine that with, I'm starting to do it and I'm realizing I can't do this for every industry. I'm having to take so much time to research this industry and that industry. So very quickly this is all I'm going to do. One day I'll grow out and branch out. But right now I just want to supplement my income so I can quit my job. Let's just only focus on law firms.
What business in your niche does someone need to go do and make a lot of money? You don't do this thing, but you wish someone would do this thing that would complement what you do. What is that?
Just for law firms?
Yeah.
Paid ads is very complementary to what we do, and they're really hard to do. If you've got a good paid ads vendor, anybody, don't take them for don't say that this is such a common practice that anybody can do it. It's a very, very competitive world. The legal is the most expensive paid ad category. So in Google, you have categories. The most expensive is legal.
Why?
It's just so competitive. You've got these personal injury law firms. They're going to, if they can acquire your case and they only paid $300 a click for your case, and it's a $40,000 case, it's just such high profit margins, right? The average divorce is going to be between 15 and 20 grand. So if I can run a paid ads campaign and my budget was 10 grand, I'm going to acquire 50 leads from that. It's just a numbers game at this point. So it's a very expensive industry to pay. You've got to pay to play. It's very expensive, but then also the lawyers are making a ton of money, right? So it's the most expensive. So that's complementary to what we do because, again, we're only in the organic world. And when we have a client who's found a paid ads vendor who does well, I say, look, don't lose them. Let's work together.
So this is a question that's business related, but I think you can help answer it. How important is personal brand for the business owners that you work for?
Personal brand is very important, but the law firm owners do not see it that way. And so I'm striving to, when I meet with our law firms, to help open their eyes to that. right? So not just to law firms. We all know personal brand is important. But look, you're doing business with people you know, like, and trust, right? And if I'm going to spend a lot of money to work with you for more than likely a difficult season in my life. Oftentimes we need lawyers for a difficult
bad
season.
Stuff, yeah.
I want to know that you are competent. And so many law firms, we work with our clients a lot on this of, does your website speak to your client avatar, or does it just tell people how great you are? I'm the greatest lawyer in Birmingham. I've won this. Sure, those things are great. Or does your website say, are you worried about not seeing your children? Are you worried your ex-wife's going to take everything from you? Are you worried? So we're speaking to their fears. We're speaking to their emotions. But if you have not built a brand, and your personal brand is just, I'm the greatest, Better Call Saul. Every law firm's done that. You've got to make yourself stand out in this market, no matter your business, but specifically law firms. You've got to identify what makes you different.
Who are the top one or two people? Who are the top one or two lawyers that have a great personal brand?
I mean, I have to say Morgan & Morgan, right?
Okay.
They've done such a great job. He's done such a great job of identifying, we are big, we have the muscle, and we can win your case, right? So he's done a really good job. Alexander Schnorr in this area, he's done a good job. Yeah. I mean, these are huge guys in the arena. These are not folks we work with. Not that I wouldn't want to, but they've done a really good job of saying, this is the one thing we do, and we're going to do it really well. Okay, so have Schnorrs and the Morgans of the world, have they just bought their popularity? They've bought their way to the top. Mm-hmm. And it's been strategic, but it's worked. Correct? It's worked. They've bought every billboard on I-20. Right? Sure. Yeah, it's absolutely worked. They've muscled their way into every market and every industry by eating up all the billboards, all the TV time, all the paid ads. So he's just reinvested his money. Both of them have. They've just reinvested their money, and now they're dominating markets. There are some markets that are just so oversaturated by these guys, no one else can get in. Right? So they've done it. Birmingham is a very popular market just because of I-20 and personal injury, where we sit in the world. Right? So they've just dominated this market, and it's hard for other players to come in. Hormozy talks about books. He says, don't work yourself to where you can read hundreds and hundreds of books. Find 100 books, find 50 books that are the best, and read them over and over again. And so that's what I've tried to do this year. I took 6 months, and I read new, and I'm taking the back end, the last 6 months, and I'm reading old stuff. What is the best book you've read that has helped you with your journey? Wealthy Gardener. No doubt. Down. Number one, The Wealthy Gardener. It is absolutely wonderful. Okay. It is. I've recommended it so many times. How many times have you read it? Twice. It's 450 pages too. But I'm an underliner. I read with a pen. Yep. And so I underline and write notes. And so there are a lot of times where I'll go back and read just random stuff. I will pick the book up, open the book, and read 2 or 3 chapters. Because what he does is he breaks it down into smaller chapters that are really digestible. And if you read 6 pages, you don't have to go back and read 6 pages to read the next 6. Hands down, one of the best books I've ever read. Okay, I've never read it. Just in business and in general, business and life. It's wonderful. Okay. What's next for you? How many? Let me go back. How many clients do you have now? We are at 44. 44 clients. What is the next 2? I hate saying 1. What does the next 2 to 5 years look like for you? Stepping out of the day-to-day with clients and becoming more of. So currently, we've just hired someone to take over the day-to-day with the clients. It's a big step for us. The relationships have all been based on me at this point. I have a team of 9, so it's time that my team begin to take over that day-to-day, and so I can transition to my immediate goal is more sales, marketing, and then just overall growth and vision for the agency. So the 2 to 5 year goal is I'm out of sales, and I'm just growing vision, training, making sure the agency is staying on track with the vision that I have for them. Of the 9 people that you have on your team, what do the 9 do? So we have a full-time website designer. We have a full-time social media and email specialist. We have SEO manager. I have 3 people in our account team, some content writers, office manager, So mostly are in the actual practice of marketing, and then the other 3 are helping me manage the accounts. And now they're taking over managing the accounts.
All right, so let's talk about, you mentioned something, email. What do you guys recommend? 44 clients, they probably all have different CRMs and things like that. Do you say, hey, we're going to work with you, but we need to use this CRM, or do you just use all the different CRMs that these guys have? Tell me how that works. That's a technical it's a technical thing, and you can be great if you do active campaign, but you may not know anything about Salesforce. So what do you guys recommend and say?
Yeah, so we only use MailChimp. And here's why.
Really?
Here's why. I know. It's a weakness of ours. It will grow. It's not something that I'm needing to grow at the moment. It will grow in the next probably 6 months. In the world of legal, many law firms use legal-based CRMs. So it's also their client management software.
Sure.
So for security purposes and legality issues, I want no business in their CRM.
That's great. That's good advice.
We're not trying to cross that line. So what we can do is say, look, we use the easiest platform out there, MailChimp. We can send your law firms just monthly newsletter. Now, if your firm is setting up some sort of drip campaign or nurture campaign, are you familiar with that? Okay. So if you're setting up some sort of drip or nurture, we can write the content for you, and you go plug and play and put that into your CRM, right?
Into the law CRM.
Into the law CRM. Mm-hmm.
You need to meet John Burdett.
Okay.
So John Burdett runs companies that helps companies scale and grow. And he was a guest on our podcast not too terribly long ago. But he uses exclusively Salesforce. Your next step is probably utilizing someone like John and that CRM for what you guys do. And I could be wrong. I think it's worth a conversation with John. Luke, let's make sure we do that. So we need to get you introduced to John. John's phenomenal, extremely successful, very, very smart human being. Okay. So I think that would be a good, even if it's an hour coffee or something like that. Yeah. Guy's great. Mm-hmm.
I'll put us in a group text after this.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
So MailChimp. Mm-hmm. Wow, I would not have said that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Who's your next hire?
My next hire is going to be someone to assist my SEO manager in more of a support role for him. Just because he's growing, he's doing a great job of taking more ownership and more of a lead role in the agency. So I need him to be more of a visionary for his department and have someone help him.
I'm thinking for a second. So I don't understand the agency world a whole lot. Talk to me about the financial part of agency world. Profit margins. Your biggest expense is labor. Mm-hmm. You got 9 employees. Mm-hmm. What is a good? I'm going to use a number. It's a false number. I'm going to use a number. Say you bring in $50,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Okay, of that $50,000 a month, what is an average profit margin?
I'm shooting for 35%.
35% before or after you pay yourself?
After.
So you pay all your employees. You pay yourself whatever amount, and you want 35% of that, okay?
Yep.
What are you going to do? What do you do with the 35%? Because this is a question that people don't know the answer to. I took in $100,000. Mm-hmm. I made, after everybody's paid, I got $35,000 sitting here. Mm-hmm. What do I do? So what do you do with your 35% profit margin every month?
So I really have quarterly based projects, right? It's just my brain working in an organized fashion of what is the next project, what is the next biggest project. And oftentimes those projects are hires, and that's okay. Recognizing that your next big hire, you might have to offer an incentive, or you might have to begin insurance or some sort of retirement. So many times I'm earmarking money for that next big hire, right? So as I've grown, my employees have also grown in terms of tenure, but then also how expensive they are, right? So I'm growing and I'm setting money aside as I grow. Or the money is reinvested into technology, or it's reinvested into training. So for me as an agency, you do not have a lot of overhead, right? I have 2 offices. I have an office in Fort Lauderdale, office in Birmingham. but I do not have a lot of money that I don't have a product, right? Or what you have. So I can earmark that for employees or for technology or for growth. So those are probably the biggest areas that I'm marking for, is employees, technology, or growth in form of, I'm saving right now for a big office retreat, a big retreat next year. So the money can be earmarked, but I tend to dump them into those three categories.
How do you find your best hires? Like the best 2 or 3 people, how did you find those best hires?
My employees.
So it's all referral. So you hire Johnny. Johnny says, hey, Aunt Susie's good, or my friend Susie's good at so-and-so. And you hire them.
It has not been that way every time, but some of my best have come from employees. Look, we're a small team.
Sure.
Right? And so we know each other very well, and they know what I need. They know my weaknesses. And so if I can go to them and say, hey guys, this is what I need. Do you know of anyone? And it has been a great experience thus far, because you know what? They don't want to let the team down. They don't want to work with somebody they don't enjoy. So I find, for me, if you'll go to your team and be very specific and candid, this is what we need in this area. Guys, you see this, who would you recommend?
How many of your employees are remote?
Oh, of the 9, 5.
Where do they live?
Bosnia, France, the Philippines, Alabama, so 4.
What do your international hires do?
Website design,
Okay.
content writer, SEO manager.
Your content writers, foreign.
Yes.
Where are they from?
In the middle of hiring another one who will be in Eastern Europe. I work with a company based out of Europe. So the one content writer is in the Philippines.
Okay.
And her English is perfect.
Yeah.
We found her through a recruiting company.
Who?
Which company?
Yeah.
Codev.
Codev.
Codev, CODEV. I'm using a company called JobRack, who I have found my website designer through, and I've now hired them to find me another content writer. Cannot recommend what did I just call it? JobRack enough.
JOBRACK.
That's correct.
That's great. So this crazy thing is my assistant, I say my assistant, she runs everything around here. Sierra and I have been talking for a week about what can a VA do to make your life easier / build your capacity. What can a VA do to make my life easier, build my capacity? And I sat with my team yesterday, my marketing team yesterday. There was 6 of us in a room. And I had one of the girls, I said, if we say something that could be offloaded, that someone can be trained to do, and I got a page and a half of stuff. So I've heard of Support Shepherd, I've heard of jobs.ph, onlinejobs.ph, whatever, but JobRack. So JobRack, you give the job description, and then they go find the people.
Only in the world of marketing. Any job in marketing.
Only in the world of marketing.
Only in the world of marketing. You need a web designer. You need a coder. You need a general marketing assistant. You go to Codev, and their network is in Eastern Europe. So you're only going to have someone in Eastern Europe. So my web designer is in Bosnia, and she came through JobRack. You pay them a scouting fee.
Yeah, one time.
But then she is my employee, or you can have them become an independent contractor, which is easier. So whatever you want to do, but they're yours, right? They're your full-time employee.
That's great. We're in the middle of that right now, so this is extremely intriguing.
So you're trying to figure out at the moment what you want to dump off, what somebody could come in and fill these 6 things, these 12 things. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, we spent a week, 2 weeks building a list. And I told Sierra, I said, hey, you've got certain things that you have to do every week. Put the thing down that you know you can train someone to do in a very short amount of time. Okay. That is not going to they don't have to have in the building extremely high food knowledge, whatever knowledge. Write that thing. So she wrote like 8 or 10 things. I wrote down 3 or 4 things that I do. Like there's this guy that I listen to on YouTube. He's got a podcast called My First Million. His name's Sean Puri.
I'll listen to that.
He's great. He's really good. So he has invested in a company called Support Shepherd, and he did a course, and it's like $500. It's nothing. And it's called 9 biggest lessons I learned from hiring a remote assistant. And I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
It's very, very good. And what it does, he says it just makes his life easier. They do so many different things, and he even goes through and gives you these different templates and things like that. So it's only $250. I'm sorry. But I just want to find something. There are a handful of mindless tasks that I do that I know I can train someone to do, whether it be in marketing, whether it be day to day, whether it be someone that can analyze data a little bit better than we can. And so I'm looking for that.
You know what I recently did was a practice. I'm in a mastermind group, a coaching group, right?
Okay.
Probably best decision I've made in my business.
I want to talk about that more.
And they encouraged me to do an accountability chart. What is the difference between an organizational chart and an accountability chart? Organizational chart is Ashley, the boss, Ignacio, SEO manager. It's just titles, right?
Sure.
You can get caught up in titles. Accountability chart is now, and then they made me do it in 3 years from now. What does my hierarchy look like? But then beside each person, top 5 tasks they do currently. What you find is in a small team, you've got all these other tasks that you've got to put at the bottom that it doesn't really fit into anyone. Somebody has to do them. So they end up falling on like your best people, right? Or you as the owner. So then they made me do it in 3 years from now, and it's faceless. There's no job title. There's no face to it. It's just someone who runs it, someone who does this, and then all of those other random items that you're talking about, right? That they don't really fit anywhere. On your future accountability chart, you now show every role in your dream world, what you need, each role, what they do. So you lose sight of what, you don't care about that job title. It's just what are the 5 things they can do, the things they can do. Who cares about their title? What are the 5, no more than 5, it can be less than 5, but no more than 5 things that they do. So do it now and do it for 18 months, 3 years from now.
So let me unpack this. You're saying do it as it sits today.
Correct.
And then, okay, Thomas, in 3 years, these are the things, and you put those in different buckets.
That's correct.
And then eventually you want to have a human in that bucket.
Correct, because you know your vision for 3 years from now. So combined with your vision, what does this look like? What does your accountability chart need to look like? Because you're going to find, I would imagine you're going to find in some of those roles, 5 items are too much. 5 items are too much. I'm going to narrow it down to 3 because they need to. 3 really important items, right? So in 5 years from now or 3 years from now, what does that accountability chart look like? So what has helped me, it's helped me tremendously, like shift day-to-day employees' focus. It's helped me shift my focus. It's helped me say, I need to hire a contractor for that. Someone part-time. I'm wasting my time on that. So it's helped me tremendously offload items from me and my team and say, look, I'm running you too thin. You're doing too much. You're not doing these 3 things to the level that I would prefer you to do them at.
Why don't you just hire all VAs then? Because you've got 4 of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, why don't you just hire all? Why not?
So I am growing my account team in office with me or in my Alabama office because I'm back and forth between the 2. I don't think I'm going to change that. I want Ashley's fingerprint on the account side of things. Remember what I said, I'm not extremely talented in marketing or whatever, and I really don't have a huge passion for marketing. I'm great at communicating and relationships. Like, this is what fuels me, right? So I have a very particular way that I want our accounts and our clients spoken to, their customer service. I have a high standard of that. So I will always want them in office with me where they're meeting with me face to face. We're going to lunch on a regular basis. They're hearing phone calls. They see how I engage with the client. So I might end up having a team fully remote outside of the country, in the country, but my account team are going to be in communication with me, in office with me. I don't see that changing.
That's great. Tell me, okay, so you touched on Mastermind. So I've had tons of conversations with multiple people. Stephen Higgins, great friend of mine, Roxanne Dretto, who was a guest on our podcast at one point, Justin Kraft, talked about the power of masterminds and groups. So I'm in a real estate group. I'm in Pace Morby's real estate group. It's called Sub 2. It's wonderful. Not a lot of engagement, but you get access to the community. It's great. But it's a lot of people. Tell me about your mastermind.
It is a group of agency owners.
Okay.
6 agency owners are in my group. So we're broken down. There's 12 agency owners in the group, but it's broken down between group 1 and group 2. So I am one of 6. And we have bi-weekly calls, and it's agencies who are clumped into the same price that I'm at, not price, yearly gross. So we're all clumped in groups. So we're $1 million and under, we're $1 million to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, I believe, are the groups. So you are surrounded by like-minded, you are going through the trenches. You're in the same problem as everyone else in your group. It has been the most beneficial thing I've done so far. I Slack in the group. We have a Slack channel.
Mm-hmm.
We are in constant communication. Today, I put in the Slack channel the most specific, detailed question. Has anybody ever ran into this? How do you do this? How do you price this? That was my question today. How do you price this? I immediately get another person in the group who has built a custom platform for this, told me his pricing, answered my question, forwarded it to my team. Hey guys, let's start on this. So it has been incredibly beneficial because it takes a lot of the guessing out of it, and it's really supportive, right? You see people who have gone through it, going through it, and they've survived as well.
If everybody in the group is at the same roundabout income level, how do you ask questions about next tier growth? Because everything you read, everything you hear, every podcast, every book, all that stuff says you gotta have people you gotta be with people that are where you're wanting to go. So you got a group of 6, y'all are all kind of in the same boat. So talk to me about that. Now you said it's beneficial,
yeah,
but is it beneficial in a way of helping you grow to the next income tier?
It is beneficial in helping you grow to the next income tier, but there are coaches assigned to the group. And the coaches are in the group ahead of you.
That's wonderful.
So smart.
So there's 6 of y'all, and you got a coach. Coach A is in, let's just say you're in the $1 to $3 million group.
Yep.
Okay. The coach is in the $4 to $9 million group. And
That's
so
correct.
He's kind of helped. Man, that's really good.
Because he's been there, right? And he's gotten through it. And he can tell you, calm down. You're going to lose that client, but you're going to thrive after that because of this. Or you need to fire that client. What are you doing? He is on the other side, and he's looking down saying, come on, this is how you're going to get to this mark. So these coaches, we have two coaches in our group who are agency owners themselves. And like you're saying, I think both of them are in the highest tier. And they've been doing it for a really long time. So they are on every call that we are on, and we can ask them questions all the time. And then the actual mastermind, they've got a few employees who just work for them, and you can go to them as well. But many times they're like, look, I don't know the answer to that. I don't run an agency. Ask this person, and they will connect me with someone from the group above me. People I've never met before, they'll connect me, and I ask them questions.
Can you talk about the pricing, what that costs?
It's $1,000 a month.
Is there a one-time fee?
Nope.
Worth every dime?
I'm telling you, I paid for a year in the first month because the first thing my coach said to me is, you are way below your market rate. You've got to increase your price. You've got to increase your price. Why? Your time is what you're not accounting for.
Yeah.
As business owners, well, this is our business, right? But what would the market rate be for Thomas's time?
Sure.
What is the market rate for my time? So I immediately increased my price by no longer giving away free proposal calls. So I do a first initial call for free, but then after that, it's a paid strategy call.
Fair.
Why not? Right? I mean, lawyers are...
Make them have some skin in the game.
Lawyers are charging for a consultation call, but we're also on that call, we are building your marketing plan. So you are getting an 18-month, 2-year plan that's included so much research from my team. And so what I tell them is, hey, well, you're paying for this blueprint. If you want to take it to another agency, run with it. You've got the plan. So you're not a client of ours, even though you've paid for the blueprint. Decide after that. So they've paid for themselves month 1.
How much of what you do is plug and play for the law firm in Atlanta that's the same as the law firm in Charleston, the same as the law firm in, is it all, I mean, is it not all, is it real similar? Is it a plug and play type thing, or do you have to do specific research on each specific law firm?
So I'm going to answer your question assuming you are referring to the same practice area. So all family law.
Family law, yeah. Let's just use that. Yeah, I know family law and personal injury is totally different.
It's pretty different. It's a pretty different strategy for a family lawyer here in Birmingham and a family lawyer in Anniston, where I'm from. Because the keywords, what we're trying to rank for, is different based on your geographic location, right? Now, some of the similar questions are going to be, They're going to be asked the same from Alabama to Birmingham, but from Birmingham to Dallas, Texas, those are going to be very different because the laws are different. So you're searching different based on the laws.
Okay, that's good. That's a good answer. So let's talk about that 35% margin. And you mentioned that you're planning for a retreat, investing in different tech, and then also always holding money back for the next employee. Talk about you personally, you and your husband. What do you invest in? What are you guys investing in right now outside of your marketing agency?
Yeah, so we both max out our retirement. So we recently did a call with we have a financial team, right, for ourselves. So someone investing, we have a CBA, and we've just had the conversation of, all right, enough's enough. Like, you guys have maxed that out. So other than our retirement, we also have a mutual fund. That mutual fund is earmarked for a second home for us. So it's an investment, but we want that to be invested for our second home. That's our goal. Is in our 40s, we want a home out west. It's been planned for us for many years. Other than that, we are 2 months maybe away from our first rental property.
Good.
So for us, we're going to grow into the rental world. So growing up, again, my family flipped houses, right? So it has been something that I've wanted to do for quite a while. My husband's on board with it. He's excited. So we've saved, and so that will be our first investment property. And we're going to do it in Georgia, which we have a big network there. It's a lot more affordable than South Florida.
Oh, my Lord, yeah.
So our goal is, now that we have Green Cardigan, the agency, and it's thriving and it's growing, is our next tier 2 of investing is going to be long-term rental in the South. We want to stay Alabama, Georgia, just to start.
You want to buy single-family homes, multifamily, duplexes?
Single-family homes to start. Would love to grow into the world of duplexes, and I think that is on the horizon. Sure. But I want to, bigger pockets. I want to try my first one and make mistakes and know that we can afford it, because our goal is we want to put 50% down. Ooh. I know. Why? Again, the risk averse side of my husband is just nervous of that first property. What if something goes south? And he's wanting to over prepare and be over prepared. So we have had to compromise on that. He would prefer more. He would prefer to pay cash for the first house.
50%. That's absolutely ludicrous. We need to talk through that, because if you put 50% down, say you put 25 and 25 on 2 different homes, 25% is still more than average. So right now you can get 15 to 20% down, but if you put 25 or you put 30, put 30 down, you're going to open up yourself, because even if you put 30 down, what you're going to do is you're going to even raise your spread. So your mortgage is going to be $1,000. If your mortgage is $1,000, that means you've bought a lot more house, and you could charge, $18,000, $19,000, $2,000, whatever the number is, for rent. So you putting that down, you make your spread, it's a lot bigger, but you could have more buying power. I can see you beat your head against the wall with that.
I've beat my head against the wall with it.
I can see that. I can see your eyes.
Thankfully, he's not going to watch this. Not for real. He will. So our goal has been, Ashley's got to get out of the accounts with my business so I can back out and have more time. I'm in the thick of working.
How much do you work
70, 80 hours a week.
Right now?
Easily. It is out of this world, insane, nonstop, overwhelming. Now, I've hired and I'm backing out of that, right? It has the work-life balance is not great, so I'm backing out of that. So our goal is spring, I'm going to have more time on our hands. If I know our dynamic, I will get my way, and it'll be a 20, 30% percent down on this first one.
Do you want to have kids? Hesitate means no.
This is a hot take.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. We're 35 and 39, 38.
Okay.
We've been married for 10 years.
Great.
Yeah. So we're considering it. How about that?
Considering it.
My whole family.
You're being very careful.
My whole family's going to watch this, right?
That's fine. You're being very careful. Why are you being very careful?
Because we don't know. And I would say everyone would assume and think, and what we've probably told many people is no, we don't. But as we've gotten older, there has been more conversation of maybe.
Yeah.
It is a hard maybe.
Luke's back there laughing. A hard maybe.
Yeah.
What are your hesitations? I love this question. This is the first time you felt uncomfortable the whole hour and 14 minutes.
Can you tell?
Yes. So what is your hesitation? Your hands are sweating. Take a deep breath. What are your hesitations?
You haven't turned red yet, Ashley.
That's good. Can I do it? This is my hesitation. Can I do it? Can I not screw them up? Can I have the time? Will it mess my marriage up? Will it mess my marriage up?
Okay. So all of those things are very possible. All of those things are very possible because everything changes when you have a human. Because you wear glasses. So if you were to take those glasses off, you probably couldn't see me as clearly. But when you have a human, you automatically wear a different set of glasses. And when you do that, it's not bad or it's not good. It's just different. And so the way that you think about things will dramatically change. But let me say this. There is nothing in this world that you will love and care for more than that human. And you don't know a love like that until you have it. And you love your mom. And you love your dad. And you love your husband. But when you create a human that is from you, it is an indescribable thing. Don't have kids. I can say all that I want to with as much emotion as possible, but I can't explain it. So I say that. You grew up in church, so I assume that you've got some sort of belief background in faith. I think that, here's my thing. Good people need to have people so that we can have more good people. And so, yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult. But you've already proven that difficult is not a big deal for you. From the time you were 9 years old, you had one thought process, and you worked extremely hard at night, paying for lessons, traveling here at golf. This is harder than golf. But the reward never ends. And so I say all that to say, I'm not trying to talk you into anything. I say that because I go back to great humans need to go make more great humans. And business owners are great humans because they can do multiple things. Raising kids is hard. It's extremely hard on a marriage because you will change. You will. Physically, mentally, chemically, you will be different. Your husband will change, but he will not change as much. But just like owning your own business and creating the income and getting another client is extremely rewarding, having a human that you created look at you in the face and tell you that they love you and tell you thank you, and you teach them something for a month, a half a year, 2 years, and they finally get it. You can't replace that. There's a lot of bad people out there that are making bad humans. And so your fear is that you're going to screw up a human, when in reality, your work ethic, your moral standing, and your drive has proven that you're pretty good. I wouldn't say that to everybody, but just in the hour of being sitting here, there's qualities there that those qualities need to be in more people. And just like the number one person that you learned from was your mom, how can you take what she taught you and give that to another human? So I want to encourage you, but I also want to throw some perspective out there.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. We are all extremely selfish. We love our time. We love our money. Really, those are the two things.
Yeah.
But having someone to share that time with that's not just a spouse is a very, very special thing. So I encourage you to think, obviously, but pray too, that the Lord will lead you in a way that he may guide you there, because it's a special thing. It really, really is. So sorry to preach a little bit.
I've heard you.
Yeah.
I've heard you loud and clear.
Okay, so as we wrap up here, what questions do you have for me? Because you've talked the whole time and you've been wonderfully interesting, and there's questions that I want to ask off air, just technical questions that you might want to give the answers to. But what questions do you have for me? Anything?
Yeah, so I talked about the mastermind, right? And it's been the greatest decision for me. Give me that for you. What is one thing that you would say, man, I can't imagine what my business looks like without this?
Overhiring. So I'm in the position that you want to be in 2 years or in 18 months. I've probably got 2 or 3 people on my team that I could probably do I could do Luke's job. I could do Tanisha's job. I could do part of Rebecca's job. But if I did Luke, Tanisha, and Rebecca's job, I would work 70 or 80 hours a week. And so I have Luke, who's been a wonderful hire. I have Tanisha, who helps run the kitchen. I have Rebecca and BB, and there's a handful of people that we have on the marketing team that do a great job. What they do is they allow me to do other things. I'm leaving here in a minute, and I'm going to go throw the football with my son, and I won't pick up my phone until tomorrow morning. I will take my daughter to church tonight. I will sit down with my wife. I hate TV. I will sit down with my wife tonight and watch TV because that's what she wants to do. It allows me to do the things that I want to do, but it also frees my mind up to do things that need to be done that only I can do. Because there's a handful of things that only Ashley can do.
Yeah, the vision, that's all on you.
And so overhiring allows me to do that.
How did you do that?
By finding things that I did not want to do and hiring someone to do those things, number one. Or hiring someone to do things that they are better at than me. So when I coached college football for 10 years, Coach Amato used to always say, I got to hire coaches that know more than I do. Because if I'm the smartest guy in the room, I got to get into another room. So Luke's got a handful of knowledge that I don't have. Ari, who does all of our marketing, got more knowledge than I have. So I got to hire people that know more about things than I do.
Okay.
And that's hard because you think you know it all in a certain way, but you got to go find those people.
Okay.
That make you, that alleviate things, but you got to find someone that knows more than you do, that does a better job at those things than you do.
Okay. I have one other question. Let me come back to this. What you were just saying, this is a practice we had to do in our coaching group. Going back to that, draw a circle around your fist, right? Inside the circle is everything you enjoy doing, what fuels you, what you enjoy doing, everything you hate doing on the outside of the circle, and hire for that. Was one of the first things that I had to do in the group. And it has been rewarding in a way. I'm not really into marketing. I don't really care about that. I love nothing more than the human side of it. I love seeing a law firm owner happy because they've grown and they've made more money and their work-life balance is better. I don't want to do the work. So that was just a tool that could help people. It was the first thing I did to start hiring. My second question for you is, what is the biggest mistake you've made, and how specific you can get would be, I think, helpful.
Hiring fast people that don't morally line up with what we're doing.
Not what I thought you would have said. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, you hire fast because you have a need. And I had a guy quit who did a really, really good job for the stage we were at. And he quit not long ago. And I could have hired extremely fast. But I didn't. I helped do that job for a little bit because I wanted to see what I wasn't seeing. And what I saw just in that chef's job was that he was cooking and in the kitchen doing stuff 70, 75% of the time. And I need him doing that 15 or 20% of the time. That's probably too big of a number. I need someone to run the intricate day-to-day things that make that kitchen, that ecosystem go.
Yeah.
And I've seen that because I've picked up some of those tasks. Sierra's picked up some of those tasks, and Tanisha's picked up some of those tasks. So we're doing the job that guy did. But I've added, she's added, and she's added.
Okay.
Can't do that long. So I've got to go I need to be more careful with my hire that he lines up. He can do the job that I want him to do or her do, and that he lines up morally and with where we are and what we do.
Okay.
What did you think I was going to say?
I don't know. I didn't expect the part about that they aligned with you morally. I don't know. I just didn't expect that. I don't know what I thought you would say, but that wasn't it.
Yeah, I think it's important. And the more I'm here and the more I do this, the more I think that having someone, you don't need to have someone that thinks like you do. Mechanically, it is very important that you have people that think like you do morally. Mm-hmm. There's a big difference.
Yeah. No, I agree. Let me go back to one thing you just said. Tell me, you were talking about, I'm going here and I'm going to do this after this. Tonight I'm going to do this. Tomorrow I'm going to do this. What is your daily routine?
Daily? 4 to 7 a.m. is locked in. It's not changing. So the key to a great morning is how you set up at the night. So at night, let's go back to the night first. So at night, I drink 20 to 25 ounces of water, lemon, and salt before I go to bed. I set the coffee pot for in the morning. I like coffee a lot, just black coffee. In the morning, I wake up between 4 and 4:15. I walk out into the garage. I have a cold tub. I do that between 2 and 3 minutes. Get up, dry off, go put my clothes on that I set out the night before. I sit at my desk. I read my Bible for anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes. I then read something else. And then at 5:30, I go to the gym. I come home at 6:30. From 6:30 to 7, I sauna in that time frame, anywhere between 180 and 200 degrees for 20 minutes, depending on the morning. And then at 7, I make breakfast, get kids to school, and then progress the rest of the day.
When are you at the office?
I got here at 10 o'clock today. Okay. Normally I get here around 9, depending on the day. But I spend a lot of time meeting with other people because I don't have to be involved in the day-to-day every single day. So like, for example, tomorrow morning I got an 8:45 meeting with a business owner about possibly buying his business. And then I have a 12:30 meeting with 2 of my great friends I talked about earlier, Rock and Steven, and we just talk business ideas and investing and things like that. So I got to lean on those guys a lot. So I have time from 10 to 12:30 where I will do the different things that I've got to do throughout the day. Like today, I spent an hour and a half doing the food order. Again, something I had to pick up because that guy left. And so I'll do some of that. And then I've got to help with an event this weekend, talking to one of my team today about that event, a little bit more specific there. So my day-to-day during the middle of the day is different a lot of times. I try to spend time with people that are going to make me better, that I can help. I spent an hour with a guy this morning that just sat for an hour and just asked me questions. A friend of mine needs some help. I sat there with him and answered questions for an hour. Okay. So, and I get home between 2:30 and 4 or 5 o'clock every day, and from that point, I pretty much shut it down. And that's been probably the last year though. Okay. So.
Before that, it was not. You're not home at.
Yeah, I would still go home, but I would usually do stuff, work a little bit. Okay. But I got 3 humans, 14, 11, and 7. So you got
a lot to do.
I got a lot to do.
That's a really common question I get is just, you've asked some great questions today of other business owners want to know, or especially they're just getting started, and I'm not where you're at, right? But they might not be where I'm at. Of just the technicalities of what do you do every day? Yeah. Right? Or how are you teaching yourself? How are you growing? How are you learning? I get those technical questions quite a bit of people just wanting to know practical stuff.
You got to have people around you. So a lot of the growth in any business is marketing and sales. Every business, whether you're a marketing firm that does law firms or you're food or whatever, a lot of it is how are you marketing? How are you selling? I work on my personal brand a pretty good bit. Doing this podcast relationships with you, whatever. But I got a team that I put ideas down on paper and I ask them, we talk through them. Some of them are great, some of them are not great. So like, for example, one of the things I do all the time is when I travel, whether I go to a volleyball tournament and sit all weekend or I'm going to Turks in 3 weeks, I take notes all the time. You see this notebook right here. It is full of just stuff. And some of it is like to-do list, but some of it is who am I going to talk to? I am a note taker and a thinker. And so I will write crap down all the time and I put it on a list, go over it with my team and they'll shoot it down. They'll say, yeah, let's do it. Or they're like, how do we do that?
Yep.
So I'm constantly bouncing ideas off of Luke and Ari and Sierra and people like that.
Okay.
So perfect. Okay. So we're good. This has been great. Your story is great, but you've also experienced a lot, even at 35. You got a little sermon in there from me about kids. And so, but it was just great. I want to continue our conversation, continue our relationship down the road. But thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate it. Last thing, where can someone find you and reach you if they've got questions, they want to use your services, or just want to learn more about you?
Yeah,
Where's the best place?
On all social channels is probably the best place, honestly. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Okay. I'm really active on LinkedIn and Instagram, so a DM there. And our website, greencardiganmarketing.com.
Slow down. Do it again. Green what?
Greencardiganmarketing.com. Okay. To find anything about the business, but me personally would be my personal LinkedIn or Instagram.
What is your Instagram? Oh my gosh.
Pause. I need to know that, right? Ashley R. Robinson _GCM. I know.
Perfect.
Easy.
Good.
Easy, right?
Really easy.
So easy.
Right, perfect. Thanks so much.